Emancipation in Jamaica marks the end of slavery and the freedom of our ancestors. But true freedom also means freeing our minds from the chains of mental slavery. As one songwriter reminded us, none but ourselves can free our minds. So, let us heal, grow, and become better people, leaving a legacy of love and hope for the next generation. And our 2026 Festival Song winner, D. Burns, reminds us to find joy and keep smiling.
Jamaica, Jamaica, land we love. Well, I don't know about you, but I love Jamaica. Breadfruit and roast for breakfast, I love Jamaica. Big up me athlete, them, yo, them fast, I love Jamaica. Me love it, me love me island breeze, fruit trees, yes, I love Jamaica. I love Jamaica, I love Jamaica. Jamaica, I love Jamaica. Alright then, come take a trip with me, and I make we start the journey out to halfway tree. Done pan out proud and past ever knows. Visit the museum of Bob Marley. And then we swing back and go down a town. Make a stop at Coronation and go buy a pound. Or the finest yellow yam, onion and scallion. The best things that come from the ground can be found in Jamaica. I don't know about you, but I love Jamaica. I love Jamaica. The nicest and the prettiest girl, them come from Jamaica. From Jamaica. No matter when me go in at the world, yes, I love Jamaica. Here I go. Me love me island breeze, fruit trees, yes, I love Jamaica. I love Jamaica. Jamaica, I love Jamaica. Sing with me now. Jamaica, I love Jamaica. I'm in Jamaica, where are you? UK, Canada, them place the cool for true. Me day in the hills, I enjoy the view. I play some domino with J-Ray and his nephew. Well, it's a fact, every time we step out, we make a impact. The fastest set around at them on the track. We set record, Chris Gale and Bunny Shaw, Sunshine Girls, make me not left me hard. Because no matter what trials we face, we still find joy in this place. With every step we celebrate, Jamaica we not separate. No, I don't know about you, but I love Jamaica. Her chicken and festival, yes, I love Jamaica. Everybody Irie and article, yes, I love Jamaica. I love Jamaica. Me love me island breeze, fruit trees, yes, I love Jamaica. I don't know about you, but I love Jamaica. Oh, big sound string up in a lawn, yes, I love Jamaica. Play some reggae music and dance all, yes, I love Jamaica. Me love me island breeze, fruit trees, yes, I love Jamaica. I'm telling you that I don't know about you, but I love Jamaica. I'm telling you, say, yo, I don't know about you, but I love Jamaica. Me love my country. I don't know about you, but I love Jamaica. I don't know about you, but I love Jamaica. Jamaica, Jamaica, land we love.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Jamaica Magazine. I'm your host, Audrey Williams. It's the weekend and we have a lot in store for you. Stay with us.
Good day, I'm Jabertha Atkinson, and this is your JIS News for Friday, July 31, 2026. A section of the Southern Coastal Highway in St. Thomas has been named the Paul Bogle Highway in honor of a son of the parish, a freedom fighter, and a national hero. Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness unveiled the sign at the official ceremony on Thursday.
Today, we gather to join Jamaica's history to Jamaica's future by designing and designating this section of the Southern Coastal Highway as the Paul Bogle Highway, we honor one of the greatest sons of St. Thomas and reaffirm that national development must always be rooted in our history.
The corridor is a 4-lane highway that stretches from the Bull Bay Bridge to the Morant Bay roundabout with improved alignment to existing roadways within communities. During the name ceremony, Dr. Holness reiterated that further developments were coming for the parish, including a port.
And it's not just a plan, we are well advanced in doing that. It will be an aggregate port, but it will also be for cruise shipping, because we are going to bring tourism to this corridor in a significant way. We are well advanced with a plan to put a museum, yes, a museum in Morant Bay to properly document and house the artifacts and to tell the story of Jamaica.
The journey from St. Thomas to Portland will also be an eco-drive experience with improved beautification and pit stops along the corridors.
And so we're going to develop that route with proper streetscaping, trees, proper stops for public sanitation, proper stops for vendors, develop beaches along the way.
The Government of Jamaica Electronic Procurement Portal, GoJEP, has been upgraded to improve efficiency and transparency in the public procurement process and make it easier to bid on government contracts. Minister of Finance and the Public Service, Favour Williams, launched GoJEP 2.0 at the AC Hotel in Kingston yesterday. She says the technology upgrade is a strategic investment in the future of public procurement, removing real barriers to using the system and representing another bold step in transforming the way government serves the people of Jamaica.
You no longer need to install extra software just to submit a bid. You log in from any ordinary web browser. So GoJEP 2.0 is the same platform you already use to bid on government contracts, but we have removed the outdated barriers, stronger connections to our oversized system, and much better record keeping underneath it.
Minister Williams asserts that GoJEP 2.0 is not the finish line, but rather a catalyst for the next era of public procurement in Jamaica.
And over the next years, we will build a fully integrated end-to-end digital procurement system, one that connects planning, tendering, evaluation, contract management, supplier performance, and payment. It should begin before a tender is ever advertised.
The Finance Minister adds that as data quality improves, the platform will increasingly become government's single source of procurement information. The island will have to brace itself for even more dry conditions and warmer temperatures as the drought situation persists. At a press briefing yesterday, it was announced that as of June 30th this year, 10 parishes have received below average rainfall, and drought conditions are being felt in the parishes of St. Elizabeth, St. James, St. Anne, and St. Mary. Principal Director of the Meteorological Service of Jamaica, Evan Thompson, says the dry condition is due to the El Nino phenomenon.
The El Nino actually was generated in June, at the early part of June, and we see that it has continued to get stronger and stronger going through July, and is expected to continue that trend. So the image you're seeing here tells us that it will continue to strengthen going through to the end of the year and even into the first quarter of next year at least.
Meanwhile, Minister of Water, Environment and Climate Change, Matthew Samuda, is warning that if the drought conditions do not change by August 10, prohibitions will be put in place to help safeguard water storage for school reopening in September. He was speaking at the press briefing held yesterday to update the country on drought conditions and the national water supply outlook.
Prohibition orders speak to specifically irrigation and watering of gardens, lawns, grounds and farms, filling or supplying of pools and other things for domestic services. Washing of cars would be prohibited, watering and washing of roadways, and any purpose that would require unusual or non-essential use of water.
Minister Samuda says the government has restarted the distribution of black tanks to be distributed by MPs and the Social Development Commission in areas with a serious water scarcity. Additionally, $86 million has been allocated to members of parliament for trucking water in their respective constituencies.
If the situation prolongs for 3 months, it is estimated that the cost of drought response will be in the range of $500 million. How that is to be allocated if the situation warrants it will be approximately $100 million of trucking monthly. That would be split evenly between the NWC, who would service critical infrastructure including hospitals, health centers, schools, police stations, etc. It would be split between members of parliament managing areas within their constituency that have particular elevations, and would be supplemented by the parish councils working outside of the utility footprint.
Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith, is reporting that over 250 Jamaican students are proceeding with their studies in Cuba amid the surging humanitarian crisis in the Spanish-speaking nation. The minister gave the update during this Wednesday's post-cabinet press briefing at Jamaica House.
More than 65 students have completed their medical studies for the 25-26 academic year, and 5 of them are on government scholarships. So close to 270 remain in Cuba, to the best of our knowledge, of whom 40 are sponsored by the government. That is, they're on Government of Cuba scholarships, which are supported by the government of Jamaica. Since our last update, one student, a private student, has formally advised of his return home. 3 others have indicated that they're in the process of continuing their studies elsewhere through academic transfer.
Minister Johnson-Smith says other students have returned but have not formally notified the ministry. She says the Jamaican government continues to maintain provisions to assist those students who want to leave.
The government has communicated our preparedness to assist with one-way return tickets should they wish to return but have a difficulty with affordability. And we continue to engage the Ministry of Education, the Ministry of Finance, and the Ministry of Health, as well as medical tertiary institutions on what, if anything, can be done for those who may wish to return and continue their studies here.
And finally, Jamaica's 65th anniversary celebrations next year will mark the final staging of the country's flagship national celebrations at the National Stadium until its major renovation. Minister of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport Olivia Grange made the announcement during Wednesday's post-cabinet press briefing.
After that, we will prepare for our expansion and redevelopment. But I'm just putting everyone on alert. Jamaica 65 will be a special year.
For this year's celebrations, she says members of the public who are unable to secure tickets for a Grand Gala at the National Stadium will still be able to enjoy the event through a special watch party at Independence Village.
I'm making a special appeal that if we are unable to provide for all who want tickets to be in the stadium, if we're unable to provide you with tickets for the stadium, that you will accept the tickets we have available for Independence Village, where you can be a part of the watch party.
Tickets for a Grand Gala will be available at Independence Village beginning on Saturday evening. Meanwhile, tickets for evening activities in the Independence Village are now available at the Ranny Williams Entertainment Center. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Jabertha Atkinson. Thanks for watching.
Thank you for staying with us. Do you have a favorite fruit? What do you think about growing your own fruit tree? Well, our upcoming feature has tips to help you get started with growing your own fruit tree right in your backyard. Please take a look.
Who knew that backyard gardening could include growing fruit trees? Well, today we're exploring how growing trees at home can turn your yard into a lasting source of fresh fruits and food security. Let's go. Imagine stepping outside and picking your own oranges, guineps, or cherries. No market trip, no rise in prices, just fresh, nutritious fruits. For business owner and a farmer Julie Chin, that journey began long before she ever planted her first tree.
My dad was a farmer, so I grew up on a farm. So I could say I've been a farmer the whole of my life. My dad had planted a lot of fruit trees before, and they were actually destroyed by people's animals and maybe a lack of care. So it's just something I wanted to continue on. It provides food for us, also for wild animals and birds, and I just love the idea of planting fruit trees, like leaving a legacy.
And that she is. Today on 370 acres, partly dedicated to farming, her operation is a thriving mix of citrus and exotic fruit trees, designed for both harvest and sustainability. Rows of Artinique trees are intercropped with lemons, limes, and grapefruit alongside black sapote.
Pretty much any different kind of fruit trees I could get my hand on, I try to intercrop to have a variety of trees on my farm.
Like many farmers across the island, her journey has faced challenges, but she continues to replant, rebuild, and stay rooted in purpose.
Even if we don't reap the fruits, just to know it provides something. It's not just a tree that provides oxygen and pollen and nectar for birds and bees and butterflies and stuff. But just for us as humans to be able to have something from that fruit to eat.
Now Julie's operation is beyond backyard farming, but even in her story, you can find inspiration, and you don't need acres of land to start. Even in urban communities, fruit trees can thrive in containers. With a large pot, proper soil, and regular pruning, trees can be kept small and productive.
If the trees are engrafted, like circumposed from a bearing tree, probably within a year or 2 years. And those would be the ones that's best suited for container gardening, not from seeds, but from circumposed plants.
Julie sells her produce at local farmers markets, where fresh, organic fruits are always in demand.
The Ortiniques were like $400 per pound, and if you bought 10 pounds of Ortinique for your family, that's a good savings, relatively, I should think.
You too could sell your surplus crops. But even if your family is able to consume it all, think of the savings you just made by not having to buy those fruits. As Jamaica continues to strengthen its food security, backyard gardening is emerging as a quiet but powerful solution. Every tree planted reduces dependence on imported food, strengthens local resilience, and promotes healthier living. So whether you have a large yard or just a small space for a container, start with one tree, and in time, it won't just feed you, it will feed a nation.
Jamaica 64, united in celebrating resilience. The 2026 Independence celebrations are now underway and continue through to August 6th with a full calendar of exciting events for the entire family. Enjoy a vibrant program of cultural showcases, live entertainment, and community celebrations, including the Independence Village at the National Stadium Complex. Then, join the nation on Thursday, August 6th for the spectacular Independence Grand Gala at the National Stadium. Come, celebrate Jamaica's culture, creativity, and resilience. For the full schedule of events, follow the JCDC on social media. Jamaica64, united in celebrating resilience.
How much do you know about defensive driving? Up next, tips on how you can anticipate potential hazards and other drivers' mistakes and take steps to avoid collisions.
It was the third staging of the Grinnell's Driving School Defensive Driving Workshop held in June as part of Road Safety Month activities. The initiative continues to be endorsed by the government as part of its reinforcement strategy to change Jamaica's road safety culture.
The main purpose for our defensive driving workshop is to educate drivers so that we can see a steady and ultimately drastic reduction in the number of persons who die on our road. So the emphasis of the program is really show people how to drive without having crashes. And we did what is called the collision prevention formula, which is actually have three basic steps in there. The first step is the R, which is to recognize traffic hazards, and then the U to understand the defense. What am I going to do about the potential crash situation that is pending? And therefore, the final step is action, and that is to act correctly in time.
The managing director of Grinnell's Driving School says the feedback from the workshops has been very encouraging, and people are putting the techniques into practice.
Defensive driving is a tool, it's used across the globe to reduce crashes and save lives. If we continue this, I have no doubt that before long, Jamaica will be one of the top countries in terms of the less crashes and fatalities across the globe. But we have to bind to it.
The June staging of the defensive driving workshop included a roadshow expo.
Let us advocate for responsible driving from both private and public motorists. Embrace new technologies, obey the Road Traffic Act and regulations, and demand safer habits towards transportation. Together we can make a change and reduce fatalities.
In our first look at defensive driving, we explored some techniques motorists can adopt. Driving instructor at Grinnell's Driving School, Seth Grinnell, has a few more tips to share.
Now, if you have to change lanes, and I'll also add overtake, because sometimes to change the lane, you're on the other side of the road, right? Ask yourself, is it necessary? Sometimes it isn't. Sometimes you're going to make the next left turn, and so you have change lanes to come back to this lane to make a left turn. So is it necessary? Also, do you have the requisite speed? You can't go out there and you're slower than the vehicle you're trying to pass. Also, ask yourself, why can't I wait? Like, why can't I wait? Once you start to do all of those lane changes, if you're not checking your mirrors properly, there are blind spots that are not going to come into play, especially if you're a right-hand side vehicle and you have to come back to the left. We have a lot of bicycle and motorcyclists that, they change the lanes similar to like how you change it, and you increase that chance that, the propensity to be involved in a collision. cell phone should not be used while driving. Driving is what I call a solo task. All our attention should be given to driving. So the social media, the vlogging should be done when you're in a stationary vehicle, not when you are driving. Also, I know people get distracted by real estate. You reach that age where you want to buy property. And so you're no longer looking at the road, but you're like, wow, that house color, and I wonder how much for the deposit. So I've seen these things. So a lot of things can distract you. And the list goes on. It is more for you to know that it's drive I'm on, one task, get to my destination safely, focus on the road. The road signage is a means to inform, educate, and to reduce the collisions. But if you don't know what the road sign is saying, if you disobey the road sign, then more than likely the effect will not be what you want it to be. All motorists, pedestrians, private and public operators, motorcyclists, it is important for us to drive defensively. Driving defensively saves lives, and we know that lives are most important to each and every one of us. It is important also to be trained and certified as a defensive driver, for it increases the likelihood that you'll prevent collisions on our roadways.
The Denby Agricultural, Industrial and Food Show, Jamaica's premier annual farming, food and industrial exhibition, starts today at the Denby Showground in Maypen, Clarendon. This year's theme is Growing Forward, cultivating a path to a better Jamaica. Go and enjoy livestock displays, local produce markets and family entertainment. Don't waste your weekend. Make your way to Maypen and experience Denby. The show ends on Sunday, August 2. Before you go, we hope today's program has informed, inspired and brightened your day. As the summer season continues, be sure to join us again tomorrow for another refreshing edition of Jamaica Magazine, right here on this station. If you missed any part of today's show, you can catch the repeat and explore more stories at jis.gov.jm. I'm Audrey Williams. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of your summer, stay safe, and as always, walk good.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.